Hello friends, it's Tonton from State 948. Welcome. Let's do another guide, let's do another video. Today I'll talk about an Excel sheet that some people on the official Discord prepared, which is called the Alliance Manager. So we'll kind of review the spreadsheet and how it can help you basically. I don't use it actually actively, but most of the thing, like if I started the game tomorrow, again, and if I had to manage an alliance and I will go for being a R5, I'll actually use it. In my current situation, I've joined an alliance 3-4 months ago, maybe 4-5 months ago, and it was already organized and we work on adapting stuff and everything, so we did not really need it. But I have to say that I used some of it when we rearranged R4s in the alliance. So we basically, there was like 10 plus of us doing the job, and not everything was done and it was not clear who was doing what. So I used it quite a bit to help with the other R4 that wanted to kind of make some changes to plan everything and to look for what needs to be done in an alliance and how to go about it. So I'll mostly spend time out of the game, mostly looking at the spreadsheet. I'll explain to you where to get it. It's not made by me. I'm not exactly sure who to give credits to. It's not super clear on the spreadsheet either. But I know 1 or 2 people at it that worked on it. I gave some feedback, but I won't take any credit for it. That's really not my work. It's really someone else. So just if you go on the official Discord, so that the official Whiteout Survival Discord, right? If you go to the guide and FAQ section in English, you will have Upgrade City Alliance Guides. And here you will find the Alliance Manager from RG. So RG worked on it for sure, and I think someone else, but I don't know if they are visible here. But kudos are going to you guys. That's a great spreadsheet. And it's well updated now. So you go on the official Discord. I might just put a link on the video descriptions. You go into guide and FAQs and you look at Upgrade City Alliance Guide and you'll get the link to it. I'll give you a link to the spreadsheet as well. It's a Google Sheet, so I'll give a link. Again, I need not do it, this one. Someone else did it, and that this guy, at least this guy from Discord and a few other moderator or content creator from the Discord. So that for me, that's kind of the perfect spreadsheet. If I was the younger alliance and we needed to go through everything, so a year and a half ago for me, it would have been great to have something like that. I've made a lot of it myself in individual spreadsheet at the time, and I kind of talked through it, as we go. So let's see if the right thing is coming up, and let me go on it myself. Okay. So that's the spreadsheet. So you see it's called Alliance Planning. So basically you will need to come here and to make a copy, right? When you get the link to that spreadsheet, please do not touch, this one is I don't know, view only. You cannot anyway change it, so because it's locked, right? So if you want to get the latest version, you check the channel on Discord, on the official Discord, or you go here and you see if it changed, right? But they will kind of say it's in Discord if it changes. For the first tab, when we did it, I kind of renamed quite a bit of it, and it depends a bit on how you work with your alliance. But the way they called it, it's Alliance Management, Alliance Events, and other stuff to do. So so fill the Google Sheet about attendance. So we'll look at some other tabs. With taking care of diplomacy in your alliance, who are the point of contact. With taking care of resetting facilities, often it's always the same person doing that. With managing the rank and how often you have to do it, in their opinion. So that's something you can basically take and modify based on how your alliance is currently organized. And if nobody is responsible for that, then you might want to have someone that's responsible for that. So they say Discord and Telegram management, but you might have only Discord, you might have a WhatsApp group, you might whatever. Please update it, right? Bear spot settings, so that's people deciding on the trap spot, for example, that could, if you move regularly, stuff like that. Banners as well, is really important, but only in the early days. For us, like managing alliance territory and bear spot, it's needed never for the banners. For bear spot, it's needed when we have transfers and we get strong players. We need to put them, kind of closer to the bear trap and stuff like that. So, events, announcement, championship, Fortress Battle registration, Fortress Battle participant and distribution reward. So it will help you to kind of define all of what needs to be done on a weekly basis. Again, the version I use when we rearrange R4, I kind of went, talk to people, what do you do and how you do it, and kind of change quite a few of these. But add, use some of that we are not really doing, or we are not clear on who is doing what. Like Foundry Clash, Cannon Clash for me, it's of course, registering people, but it could be leading during the battle, right? Putting on the markers, calling the shots, what do we do, when do we do it? That could go there, right? And you will have to do some state promotion, recruitment. You could have just, sometime, and it's often, cool to have a R4 that's really kind of a chatty person that's like to talk to people. They might be useless in terms of doing things for the alliance, but they could be very useful for the atmosphere and the vibe of the alliance, right? If your alliance chat is dead and nobody's talking, and you want someone that does that genuinely, you don't want to put someone here that, do it because it's a job kind of thing. But you have an idea, right? You can go through that and see, just put names about who is in charge of what after you make a copy, to have an understanding on how it's done in your alliance. And in some spot you might want to have some backup. So I explain someone, I'm doing Alliance Championship, but I explain someone how to do it. So if I'm sick, if I cannot connect, if whatever, then someone is kind of, not experienced as I am, but they know what to do, basically. So that's the first tab. So work division, it's called. It's a good base. I will make changes if I had to do it again, and that was a good base for us to kind of reorganize our alliance. And I removed the icon, I kind of changed a few things, but I think it's a very solid base to start and distribute the workload between R4s and recruit people. And when you recruit people, you can ask them, tell them, hey mate, if you want to be R4, we need, when you have many of these fields and you have some empty spots, if you want to recruit, you can be like, hey guys, we need people to do that specifically, right? That's what we miss with our current roster of R4s and R5s. And we have nobody taking care of leading during Foundry battle, so we need a leader during Foundry battle. It doesn't have to be a whale sometimes, it could be a whale, a rally leader, but it could be as well someone that tells the rally leader what to do. If you go on voice, for example, for the event, they did not put anything like a Frost Dragon Tyrant, which will be needed at some point in your states and all of that. So that's the first tab. The second tab, the next three tabs are basically three options for bear traps. So you have one placement, which is a 2 trap placement, which I think is the first spreadsheet. Some people asked me about it a while back, and that spreadsheet was not updated yet. So you see you have P1, and it's corresponding to here, right? So here you have the name of the so that P1 is the name of the player. So basically you don't put the name in the cells, right? You put the name, class, level, score, rank. Or we put the ID maybe or something like that. No, you put the name here, right? Basically you put, let me see. Yeah, so that column is where you put the name of player, and that will translate here. You see it's equal E8. So for example, if you put P2, it's equal to E8. So 8 is that row, E is that one. So if I cannot change it because I did not make a copy actually. Let's make a copy very quickly. So actually I'll show you on a copied version. So let's do 75. So it's not too zoomed in. So for me, let's say B1, I put Denise. Then I put Farcad. Then, so you can see it's changing here, right? So you can set players and you can, basically, they suggest to put the whales here, but you put the whales wherever you want, For me, what I will do with the bear placement like that, in the middle, I'll put people that do both traps depending on their availability. In the north and in south, I'll put people that are fixed on their bear trap and that rarely do it basically. And there I could put people, you know, that do it less often and stuff. But I will concentrate people here, people that can easily swap between bear traps. So they don't have to teleport, they don't have to waste teleport. So that's a 2 placement bear trap, and you have to update on the left. You know, do you want to update the score, the furnace level, the player ID? Because if people are changing name, like, you do whatever, right? But the whales are here, right, at the top. So Denise, F, Farcat for us. These are 3 strongest players, so that's what they suggest. Bear placement, that's the one we use with the, but you know, that's only for 1 bear trap. But you could basically, you know, put another bear trap here, for example. You know, it's like 2 by 2 it's taking that amount of spots, so you could put another bear trap here and put people around. And this one is good, you know, if you have I'll use this one, it's good enough, to be honest. If I were you, if you have such a spreadsheet and you don't want to do one yourself, I'll use that one. So you never have to do bear trap again, and you have, you know, you have the little flag, so where to put your flag. So you put the bear trap, you put the flag in the corner, you leave 3 people in between, then you put flag, then you put bear trap, so that's the space of 4 people in between, because that's, you know, 1 extra tile, 3 people, so that's 4 players between the 2 bear traps. The flag's in the corner, then you start to build, you know, you leave 3 people everywhere, then you put some flags. And you know, you don't have to put the flags exactly where they are, right? But you know that it's more or less, because the flag is 1 player and a half. So if you put it after the 3rd player, you get the idea, right? You put flag inside, and then outside 3 players, so 6 tiles, block by player, and tile 7 you put the flag. So that's kind of easy to build as well. If you want, they have other trap positions, so that's the one we use. The benefit of this one is that you have a lot of players, like row 1, so this one, and row 2, they are very close. So you have basically a lot of players that have similar marching time. So if you have a lot of rally leaders and you have a lot of rally joiners, then everyone is kind of close to each other. Because if you do everyone very close to bear trap, you put less people that, you know, as close as they are with each other. So it's a bit less fair and a bit easier to join. So I would not go for the option 3 unless it's for your bear trap 2 and you have little amount of players. So some people are very close and you have a second row, and that's enough, right? And maybe you have a few people on the 3rd row. So, you know, by default, I'll use this one. That's good enough. If you have a good split for your main bear trap, that's very good as well. If you have a lot more players on your main bear trap, and that I will use for bear trap 2 if you have a lot less people. So I'll use something like that. So if you wanted to, you could do the bear attendance, right? So, you know, that's the date, right? So you could, you know, you will have the player name, the player IDs, and you could say if they participate and stuff, and you could see the attendance rate. So like that, I wouldn't stress too much about it. I would not use it myself, but if you care to be a very serious alliance and to only have active people and to know people activity, you could have a R4 feeding that, right? If you want people to know people activity, what I would suggest actually nowadays would be to go to the game, to look at Triumph, and to look at the leaderboard, and to have an ID, right? So that's how much you make per week. If people have more, it means that they kept from last Sunday. So Dan probably did not do his Intel mission on Sunday evening, so he could do them on Monday, so he has a bit more point. But that's the amount of points you do in 1 week. So 12,600. Everyone that does that is active to the maximum. So I'm missing 1 Intel mission on my farm, for example. And you will scroll down and you start to see, right? So that's a farm, that's someone that's not very active. Felix, I'm not sure who they are. Matt is, you know, starting a business, is not really working. And you can start to see that, you know, some of these people are our weaker player, right, as well. And, you know, it kind of makes sense, right? They are doing not even half of what they can in terms of Intel mission and in terms of daily missions. So if a player is very low in Triumph and they are not participating to Foundry, they're not participating to Bear Trap, they are not participating to, you know, all these things, then, you know, if you recruit for SVS and you are the top 1 alliance, then maybe you want to replay them. So whether you do it every time, and that's going to take a bit of effort, especially with 2 bear traps, or you might need one person per bear trap to do it, or you just keep it and you do it otherwise. But if you really care to have attendance, it could be done. Like I'm sure certain alliances do that. So SVS, you kind of have you can place your players if you need to. I'm not sure you have to, it shows an example below on how you can do, right? Seeing that purple is one alliance, green is another one, yellow is another one, and red is the main alliance, something like that. And you can attribute, you can put people names, right? Denise, Farcad. So for us, the way we do it is, we don't really need that. We leave rally leaders here every time, and, good rally joiner kind of around here, and then everyone else is joining somewhere else, and we give one side per alliance, and we have the same size every time. So that's, but if you need to plan, that could be a way. You might actually want to have a square. You might actually want to do to change it to have a version that's like that. So basically you could do, let me show you, you could do something like that, right? So that person is the closest. If you have one main rally leader, that person is the closest to center, right? Oh no, it's not actually. He was okay, and I'm not sure, because usually there is there are one person that can be closer, or you can have two people at the same distance, right, to center crystal in reality. So I'm not sure how it's represented here, but you can have someone just, with a straight line to center, which might be 1 second shorter. And when we do multiple alliance, we tend to have one rally leader, let's say here in the middle, perfectly in the middle, and one other here perfectly in the middle, instead of having multiple. But that does not really change much, that's all okay at the end of the day. You can adjust the timer, but that's something you can work with. I'll just move actually the webcam for today. Hey, let me put myself on the other side. So that if you want to plan, it's not super important, but some people decided to make it for our state. We end up not using it because it's easy enough, but that could be something that's easy to use basically. That's basically the fortress buffs, right? So it's not giving you the exact items sometimes, because these change over time. So after a while, Gen 1 do not have these rewards. You don't have pet stuff. You don't have maybe you don't have fire crystals. So it will evolve. But basically the buffs are always the same. Fort 1 is always this buff. Fort 2 is always this buff. Fort 3 is always this buff. So you can assign per alliance per week. It's an 8-week season. So you see you have the 8 week. So you can plan your fortress and stronghold rewards. So that that's something I've been doing kind of thing on my own before that was available. You had which fort and which stronghold is giving what on some screenshots of people made on Excel and stuff. So we will kind of do it manually beneath it ourselves and say, okay, we want to have often the best one is Fort 9. Because you have deployment, damage, deployment. Deployment is, I think it's you get it when you are VIP 12 deployment buff at a discounted rate. So until you get your whales to VIP 12, they often care to have more deployment buffs, for example, because they're the one they can buy for 10,000 gems, and this one they cost 20. So 10 is very good. Another one has 3 buffs. 12 is not good, you have only deployment buff, you have only 1 buff, for example, is not as good. So some of them have 1 buff, like 7 as well, right? 7 has only 1 buff, and its damage buff, damage is lethality, right? So you kind of pick and choose and see, so that you can organize your state. Same for facilities, so you have the map with all the facilities, and you have the legends, top and right, and which one are level 1, 2, 3, 4, and you can check. So that's something I used to do a lot for my own alliance, like make sure that we have all the fortresses, all the facilities on our main alliance, so we are connected to all of these. Then I will be the one connecting the farm to all of this, so it could be reset, right? So that's something you want to do, basically, is connect your main alliance to all of it. If you are top 3 or top 4, or, you might share some if you are too many big alliance, but if you are the strongest alliance, you might want to have them all the time, or share only one maybe, or 2, and have your farm collected, so that the second ally is second alliance, basically. So that's something I've been tracking in similar ways for myself, but I think with the map it's kind of nice because you could draw on the map, right? You could copy it on paint or something, and you could draw, okay, we put HQ around here, so we are connecting, to these, for example, with banners, and, with these, and then we patch the other HQ here because we are missing 2 or 3, and they will connect easily, and you can basically share. I forgot where I saw it, but there is a map going around which is optimized for I forgot how many alliance. But basically, like some older state, they took that map and they kind of tell you put HQ here and connect to these, put second HQ here and connect to these, and then put the other alliance here and connect to that. And so they kind of optimize for, usually, there are 3 of these, I think, and 4 of the other one, and 8 of the other ones, right? So you want to optimize for battle for 3 alliance and for 4 big alliance. Like, it's easy to have 4 big alliance in a state. More than that, you have to share facilities, and it's a bit of a pain in the bum, to be honest. Then they have a tool for rally leader, right? So you can have your whales. So that's a castle rally tool. I don't think you need it, to be honest. But if you do very complex rally leading and counter rallying of counter rallying, it could be something you use. So, you put the walking time, or they are taking, they are going for castle. Which turret are they going? You can assign people. So, whale 1, it could be for us, is Denise. And Denise is going for castle, and he's 35 sec from castle. Then Farcad is going turrets, but he's ported close to the turret, so he's 10 seconds. And then, F is going turrets. So it could be north turrets, for example, not castle. Things like that, and it will update. So you can basically plan that. I would not do it on a spreadsheet. I'd rather do it on voice. But that's something you could do, and I'm not using it, so I won't go too much in depth. If you look at the Discord, you have every tab is explained, right? You have more guidance on tabs you want to use. Which one are the editable parameters, which one are not, how to go about it. So if you have further questions, because it's not my spreadsheet and I'm not using all of it, but I still think it's a good tool and you should know about it, especially for R4s and R5s out there. Then you could go there and you could I don't know, you can probably talk to RG as well. I'm not sure if you had the time, but that could be an option. If you have feedback, I can always give it, to him directly. I've been talking to him a bit about that spreadsheet. To be honest, like I told him, if I had that, a year ago when I started, it would have changed my life. But now, I've learned how to go the other way around. I mean, to do differently. So that's something similar to what I share with you guys when there are events. So is King of Icefield, SVS preparation, and Alliance showdown, and when is best to use which items, right? So, when not to use and when to use. Some of that is debatable. I'm not agreeing with all of it, but why not? For me, looking at one event only is not good enough. For me, you have to look at the other events that are at the same time. So armament competition, officer projects, seasonal events, and stuff like that. And you have to make points when it overlaps. So I think I have a better tool for that. But you can see here, they put officer project and armament competition, right, for Alliance Showdown. But it's lacking here, right? It's lacking here. But it's not as important because these are kind of, officer project is finishing on Monday, and it's on Monday on SVS preparation, and it's on Monday on King of Icefield, and there is no overlap. By default, there are no overlap on the second day of officer project. The only exception is when there is a seasonal event. And that's why I like to have them even on King of Icefield and SVS prep. But that's a very good base. You can teach people how to play, and that's why I started to make similar spreadsheet myself. with different color coding, but that's kind of the same idea. Yeah, and basically like explaining to my alliance how to play smart, because like armament competition, the first one you can do fire crystal, you can do shards. So for example, if you look at hero shards on Alliance Showdown, you can only do them day 2. So if you wanted to complete your armament competition with hero shard, do it on day 2. Don't do it day 1, because day 1 you will complete armament competition, but you won't give point to Alliance Showdown to your alliance. So wait day 2. There is no need to do it day 1. There is no event that justify and makes sense to do it day 1. Just do it day 2. So when you have these events and when you know what to do in these events, you can basically do things that make sense. The same with Officer Project, right? Officer Project is starting on Sunday and Alliance Showdown is finishing on Sunday, but midday. The last day of Alliance Showdown is 1.5 days, so it's finishing Sunday midday. But there is an overlap on Chief Gear, for example. So where is Chief Gear? So if you want to complete your Alliance Showdown day 6 with Chief Gear, you don't get point on Armament Competition 2 for Chief Gear. You get point on Officer Project 2 for Chief Gear. So wait Sunday morning after reset if you can play in the first 12 hours of Sunday. And if you want to push with your Alliance on Alliance Showdown naturally, without pushing, just ask everyone to complete Officer Project with Chief Gear or similar. Yeah, there are a few other items, maybe Essence Stones, I'm not sure. There are a few options to complete Officer Project on Sunday that give point on Alliance Showdown and to push the last day and to try to win Showdown. Then here you have so that's a bit of a complex spreadsheet, but let me look at it. All members. So these are the waves at the top. So you have the amount of waves, so that's only to online. And these are the points it gives per level. Like, it does not really matter, right? But it's giving you an idea of the power of Crazy Joe and which wave are online. So we know it's 7, 14, 17. Then, 20 and 10 is HQ. So there is not much to use and it's a locked tab. So I don't think you have any input to do. It's more for your information. And now we have it available to level 21. So it's missing some data. But to be honest, that's a lot of work. So, I would not I would not blame them for not having having done it. That could be handy to get. I always put it on Discord in all alliance I've been. You will find it sometimes, only from FC5, sometimes you find only FC8, sometimes you find only FC10. So that's a good recap, right, on how much you need. And basically the total is that's the amount you need in total. So, every time you upgrade a Fire Crystal building, you need to do 5 upgrades to go from Fire Crystal 0, so Furnace 30 to Furnace 1. You need to do 5 upgrades, so that's 5 upgrades. So you know the cost of each building completed, right? You don't have the building time, you don't have that kind of stuff, but that gives you a very good idea. And you could have, a few other columns, or, if you... I prefer to put that in an Excel so you can calculate, But I shared with you a while back a building calculator that's giving you the amount of speed ups you need, the amount of whatever you need. But you start to get a good idea between, FC8 is where we are now. It was like 1080 and 120, and that's 1260 and 180. So that's a lot more. That's really a lot more. Because that's 50% more on these, and these are the refine are the ones that are hard. But that could be things handy you have on your Discord, and it's given in that spreadsheet by default. They could have put something about Chief Gear, Chief Charm, Essence Stones. Maybe it will be at some point. That could be handy to have, but that's already a good beginning. And then here you could have, if you want to, the names of player, right? So that that's all your alliances if you want to. So that's different alliances. I'm not sure how it works for this one. I did not pay attention, but I would not track the alliance name. So that's kind of all I wanted to share for today. If you are an already well-organized alliance, it might not be that useful. If you are starting over on your new states, if you are redoing Bear Trap, that's a good tool. We used to have to do that ourselves. That's a lot of work to think and to do. Is a lot of work. People doing that themselves, it used to really take them a lot of time. So here you just have to play and you just have to change names. So Tonton, and then you can post a screenshot on Discord, and that's as well. After SVS or after a messy event, you can see if people are at their spot or not, and you can assign people spots. And you have a new recruit, you have a whale, and you said, okay, so he's far stronger than Farcad, so we tell Farcad to go there, and and we put a mega whale here, for example. Just let me do that. So it's not changing anymore. So maybe I broke it somehow. Yeah, maybe you don't want to copy paste. It seems to break the sheet. So that's something good to know. But whatever, worst case you make a copy again and you redo it. It's quick. Copy pasting is quick enough. But that's to do the bear trap is good, and you have 3 options and they are all good bear traps. And I think the best one for one big trap is that one. That's perfect for 2 bear trap, and this one is super decent as well. It's a personal choice, I guess, between these two. And if you want to do a second bear trap or a smaller alliance, that's a very good one as well. So you have all the options needed. So I hope it is useful, guys. I'll see you tomorrow for another video. Thank you very much for being here. Let me know in the comments if you like that kind of videos, and I'll give you the link in the description as well. Cheers, bye-bye.